All right. Good morning, everyone. We are going to get started. And first and foremost, I want to just introduce myself quickly. I am Janet Christensen, and I work with the PBIS State Management and Leadership Team. And behind all of the work of our Summer Institute and those who had a part of that, we wanted to just say thank you and congratulations. We had some wonderful presenters over the last couple of days with some great information. So kudos and congrats to everyone. And thank you for being here. We have a really packed agenda today. So we want to make sure we get to celebrating and honoring all of the hard work you've done over the past year, not only year, but specifically this last year. We know it's been very challenging. And you've had some considerable success to be here today. So we want to get to highlighting the schools. So at this point, we're just going to quickly go over our agenda and we'll get right to it. So today we have a few remarks and opening comments from the Department of Education and specifically Eric Cluse, who is our Director of Special Education. We're going to go over some of the history of our exemplar schools and districts that have been around since 2014, which is a nice long time. So many of you are here with having a history of doing this, applying and being an exemplar school or district each year. And we're just happy that you're here today. And then next, we're going to celebrate our schools and districts and highlight each one of you as we go through our presentation. After that, we're going to have a message and talk through the journey of St. Cloud School District, who has been a part of our PBIS training, cohort training, and around since 2005. So they have a lot of wonderful information and how they've scaled up and been successful with their PBIS over quite a significant amount of time. And then lastly, we're going to close out just with a few comments and ways that you can get involved in PBIS Minnesota. On the bottom there, you'll see a little picture of a certificate. We want to make sure you know you do have a signed commissioner's certificate that will be awarded to you and your school this year. And some of you have been around for a few years, and we're also going to be making sure you get those certificates from previous years. So without further ado, I'd like to just open it up to Eric Cluse, our Assistant Director of Special Education.
Hi, Janet. Thank you. And, so happy to be here today. This is one of my favorite days of the year, just to celebrate Minnesota educators and the great work that you do. We don't often get enough of a chance as we're problem solving and rolling up our sleeves to really try to make a difference, but to be able to take a breath at the end of the school year and to celebrate those schools and districts that have not only put plans into place, have not only gone through training, but have put the efforts in place effectively day after day, year after year to see improved results for kids. This is one of my favorites. So I love the examples. And, I just want a huge shout out to our speakers as well, really as we go through our days to hit those themes really about integration of practices, keeping things going, using data for decision making, how to build and maintain staff buy-in across time, how to care for ourselves as staff through this pandemic so that we can support kids. Huge shout out to all our presenters that really, hit all those themes that continue to make it relevant. It isn't just about getting started, as this group well knows. It is about keeping this going over time so the students benefit from that day after day, year after year. So great celebration and the ability to celebrate the schools and districts to be with you all. I also have to say I've been lucky enough to be able to watch from the very first day of training back in 2005 cohorts, schools that have come through, and to be able to see this. I'm very much looking forward to the St. Cloud story later, but also just love the applications and the examples that we see from each of the schools that have taken the time to apply so that we can celebrate and recognize you. All these years later, I still continue to learn from each example that comes forward that way, and there's always something new to learn. So without further ado, let's hop into the celebration. One is, we wanted to go back, you'll hear in St. Cloud's story, you can go all the way back to 2005, 2006 for that first cohort. And there'll be some schools that are being recognized in the district recognition, again, to go all that way. And all of you that come kind of all the way across this continuum, just super exciting to see. We don't have another example of measured implementation across all these years. We've been building incrementally, cohort by cohort, getting up to 867 school teams that have gone through training, including the ones that will start in August with cohort 18. that's really exciting to us to see that change, that growth over time, what it takes to get started and get it going and building that base across the state. Next slide. As we talk about the exemplar recognition, again, one of our early ideas was people so commonly ask, what does this look like? What does it look like to do it well? To separate it from a professional development activity or just someone that completes cohort training, to say, if I really want to see an exemplar, what does that look like? Where can I go? And kudos to you and, for opening your doors to people that really want to come to your schools to see what that looks like. I know that happens quite a bit. And we always point them to exemplar schools as a great place to start if you want to see someone in your area, in your neighborhood. We love that the examples and the exemplars that are coming up are from all over the state. We have from every region of the state. We have all grade levels, different kinds of specialized programming that is represented as well. So when we see those examples, it really helps for others that are being interested to say, what does this look like and why is this worth our time? The role of exemplars to do that is outstanding. So thank you for that. When we do that, again, it's important to just think about really that evidence that we're looking for in the application. And you saw it briefly on the school one. Again, you know it well because you applied, but we're looking for fidelity. And we're also looking for impact over time. Efforts you've made to give back to other schools, other districts, presentations that you made, participating in research, just the variety of ways that you do that. All, just outstanding examples. Same thing for district recognition. We're glad that we have the two different levels, ones that are really looking to get to 60% or more of their schools doing this well over time, measuring annually. We have a couple examples we can celebrate that way. Really providing those supports, that training, the coaching, the ongoing evaluation. Again, so often it's easy to get started with something, but not keep it going over time. So we love to celebrate districts that have been able to do that, as well as those that really are on that pathway, have made that commitment, and they're making measurable progress towards that goal of district-wide implementation. So love that we're going to be able to see examples and celebrate exemplars in both those categories today. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but one of the things we always like to do is look at our exemplars that we're recognizing spread across that whole entire history. And we love that we have schools that are being recognized that didn't participate in the cohort. They have other forms of professional development or district support or other ways of getting there. This is a very outcome-based venture, so we love celebrating that. And we love seeing distribution across, all of those years. I think, again, this isn't just about getting started or professional development. It's how do we do this, keep it going and benefit kids day after day, year after year. So this is one of the slides that really excited us to see that great representation across all these years. So thank you. With that, I'll turn it over to Janet and just thank you for all your great work. Looking forward to the celebration and hearing from you all.
Thanks, Eric. So quickly, we have just a little bit of data from the state. So we know we have a lot of people on this call today that love data as well, and we are just the same. So this year, we're going to be recognizing the schools and districts that you will see after this. And we want to make sure that those of you on the call know that there were 5 districts that applied, 3 that met exemplar status. And as Eric was mentioning before, 2 of those districts are progressing toward. And what that means is, as a complete district, large district and small districts are doing the coordinating, the training, the ongoing professional development, looking at their data. And this is district wide. So it's a pretty big deal to coordinate all of that at the district level. And not to mention, they're looking at data to make consistent improvements throughout their entire district. So as students might move from school to school, or families throughout the community, they know that they have PBIS consistently there. And then we have 58 schools this year who applied and met criteria. We know that many of the folks maybe didn't have a chance to apply, and it was a very challenging year. We want to make sure we also say kudos to you and continue to celebrate and spread the word for us. So you can see how it's broken down by each region, and soon enough, we're going to hear from our regional folks that have made all of this and are really the front line workers in all of the PBIS we do throughout the state. And you'll hear from them in just a couple of minutes. So on our next slide, we want to just make sure you're aware that we have a variety of schools. And as Eric mentioned, through the cohorts and even non-cohort trained schools, we have a variety of schools each year. So this year, it looks unique to 46 that have early childhood. We have just an individual kindergarten program. We have K through 12 programs, K-8 programs that are doing this throughout their school. So they're really implementing and sustaining PBIS. We have 9 schools that are secondary level schools that are either middle school or high school or junior high combined. And we have an ALC or an alternative learning program. And we have 3 charters, which is also considered public school. And each year this changes, which is really kind of exciting to see the different variety of schools growing, and knowing that if you are a similar school, you can reach out to one of these schools and say, hey, we're kindergarten only this year. We're a charter school and we're newly opening. We're not quite sure what to do. Can we talk with you? So as you see the exemplars throughout the presentation, you'll notice some things that you might want to get in touch with them about. And next, as far as data goes, we've heard a ton about data today through our school presentations and yesterday. We just wanted to give a shout out to those who are really drilling down on their data and show you that the exemplar schools here today or recognized in this ceremony have our top 3 data systems that we're using throughout the state here. Represent SWIS, which is our school-wide information system. And you can certainly reach out to one of our regional folks to access that down the road. Many of you are using Infinite Campus and Skyward. And this is what we see, JMC, Synergy, and Google Forms. So those are the top 5, data systems that are being housed for information and used. So if you want more training or need some more support on how to drill down on that data, please again, reach out to another exemplar school. So we know this is a busy slide, but this is a very significant and important piece of our exemplar applicants, whether it be a district or a school. One of the things we ask, besides having teamwork and coordination and using data and drilling down and problem solving, we ask that folks share with us their most proud moments, as well as how they're drilling down into data. So a lot of these examples, all of these examples are used from our applicants today. And we just wanted to highlight some of the ways that they're collecting data. So as you can see in the upper corner, we had a school that shared out about their goal to lower racial disparities in their office discipline referrals. And they really drilled down and made some intentional decisions to look at things during advisory. They're also a restorative practice school and doing circles on improving and repairing harm in situations. There's a couple of buildings doing walkthroughs to look at student engagement. They're doing these twice a year and looking at high schools, middle and elementary, and how do we engage students proactively more often with adults. You can see on the right-hand side with that graph on the upper right that there's schools and districts using data referrals by month, by disciplinary action. And this is usually school-wide or district-wide that they're really drilling down. And towards the bottom there in the left-hand corner, you see an entire district that's measuring fidelity at tier 2. So they're really looking at district-wide tier 2 supports and how do they scale up and continue to be successful, not only in tier 1, but tier 2. And then lastly, we have a couple of varieties of school culture and climate. They use their school climate survey to get perspective on students and how they were feeling at school and really aligned their school-wide goals and improvements around those. So wanting students to feel that teachers really cared about them and valued them. So some of these are just great examples of hallway referrals, referrals building-wide, measuring tier 2 to get the outcomes that we really want to see. And we know that this takes time. Things don't change in education overnight. We know things change quite a bit. But in order to get the successful outcomes, we really need to keep drilling down on our data. And as Mark had mentioned in the last presentation, some of it we love and some of it we don't love, but it's information. It's information to drive our decision making. So we just want to highlight and encourage that in all of the things that our schools are doing today in Minnesota. So next up, we just want to highlight the exemplar districts this year very briefly before we can start hooting and hollering and shouting, sending emojis and clapping. I just want to go over a few of the districts that were recognized this year and highlight some of the things that you can see they've done. So we have 3 of our districts being recognized: Cambridge, Osseo, and St. Cloud area schools. who have sustained exemplar district capacity. And again, that means that the majority of their schools have taken a TFI at least once a year and are doing this consistently. And the two districts being recognized below, which is Waterville, Elysian, Morristown, and Burnsville, are progressing toward, but we still recognize everyone as an exemplar district. It just means that they may not have all of their schools measuring fidelity at this time, which is normal, it's common, and we all know that every school has unique needs. So all of the schools here today, as far as districts and schools, we are recognizing you as one and doing such a great job. So first up, we have Cambridge Isanti, and just to give a couple of highlights from them, they've used a district capacity to really improve their district-wide coordination. They're using it for coaching. They're setting up district plans, and they've developed a consistent code of conduct and a handbook. Their coaches are using their district or their data district-wide to drill down in each school. And they've showed a lot of growth from this capacity assessment. And again, reach out to one of us if you're interested in measuring your district capacity to not only implement PBIS, but if you're thinking of something else, please reach out to one of us today. It's a wonderful tool and helps this district be consistent, as they mentioned. So next we have Osseo Area Schools, who's been around here for quite some time. They're really proud of the recent data that they've taken across I hear people yelling, awesome, across their district. So they've measured TFI not only at tier 1, but at tier 2 as well. And they're meeting fidelity and sustaining that. And they have been for years. They're a great resource to reach out to after the ceremony if you'd like some ideas on how many different things that they've been implementing under the PBIS umbrella and able to consistently measure fidelity at tier 1 and now tier 2 and 3. Next up, we have St. Cloud Area School District, and we are excited to have St. Cloud later in our ceremony here to give us a little bit more of a close-up view of their presentation of how they've been sustaining PBI since 2005. This year, they really highlighted that they have a new data warehouse, which is EduClimber, and their coaches are really drilling down, and we'll hear a little bit more about that later on in just a few minutes. We have up next Burnsville Egan Savage School District. Some of the highlights that they've noticed, which we think as a state is really important, is that their buildings have maintained PBIS throughout a pandemic. We know we had to shift and change, and a lot of us had that narrative of fear and what's going to happen when we come back into school and how are we going to maintain all these wonderful things we're doing for kids. And what they noticed was that they had a prediction that they would slip, that they would go backwards, and their data points would not show that they're doing so well. And that's not true. They were able to keep things where they left off. They were able to continue PBIS with fidelity and really show that. And it shows in their data. And lastly, they wanted to really make a mention that honoring their dedicated staff. Their staff has worked so hard. We know you all have worked hard, engaging not only students and staff, but the community as well. We have so many opportunities now to engage our communities. And they really wanted to make sure that we could highlight that today, that when we go back, if we go back to being a traditional school, we know methods and things are changing, but PBIS is our constant, and doing predictable things for students has really been a value of theirs. And Waterville, Elysian, Morristown in the South, we wanted to just quickly mention that they're really proud of their reduction of behavior referrals. They had a lot of new schools or things being implemented with PBIS programs and activities. And they were really proud that they were actually able to reduce referrals by that. So it's just evidence that it works, and that even if you try new things and we're a little afraid, we can still make a significant impact. So congratulations to Waterville Elysian as well. So here again, we just want to give a quick shout out to our exemplar districts. And I personally want to give a round of applause. This takes a lot of work to coordinate and train and retrain and measure fidelity and work with data school-wide, building-wide, and district-wide. So a big congratulations to these districts. And again, reach out afterwards if you want to for more support. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Erin Agnes, who is our Northern Regional Representative here today. She's really been a really important part of what's been happening in the North and the unique schools and the unique communities in the Northern region, and really done a lot of work. So Erin, I'm going to turn it over to you to just give us a quick overview of your North and a shout out.
All right. Well, thank you. Congratulations to all those districts, and congratulations to the North Exemplar schools who you will meet in a moment. It has been really great to hear from all of these different schools, and to just see that sometimes we feel like we don't have things to celebrate or that things aren't going the way we want. And then I read these applications and I just think like, oh my goodness, that is such a great idea. Or you're using data for these things. And now you're willing to share those ideas. So many schools out there doing so many great things. Take a moment to celebrate those, share those with your staff, share those with your community and families, and just know that we are happy to recognize you today as well.
Thanks, Erin. So at this time, we're going to go over the Northern schools who are recognized this year, and then we're going to get to the Metro and South. But again, feel free to hoot and holler, send those emojis. We're really proud of all the work that you've done. So without further ado, we have Art and Science Academy Elementary School. We also have Art and Science Academy Middle School. Both of these are charters. We have Clearview Elementary, and we love that they have the Cody, their tiger, as their mascot, the Clearview Cougars. Discovery Community School, and we love that their behavior matrix is so visual for these young students. Isanti Intermediate School and School for All Seasons.
Yay!
Love it. And next we have Ivan Sand Community School, and love that big banner, the Ivan Sand Way, respect, responsibility, and kindness. Next we have King Elementary School in Deer River. And I really like, we just can't hide our King pride. There must be a song behind that. And next up, Lake Park Audubon Elementary School. Leaf River White Pine Elementary Tree Academies. And we like to say all the trees. Lincoln Elementary School, excuse me. And I love the map in the background of all the places that their students are from. Meadowvale Elementary. So we have another Elk River, Otsego, Rogers, and Zimmerman School. Mississippi Heights Elementary. Again, love those visuals in their matrix. North Junior High. I think it's important to reach out to North Junior High too, to make sure you know what might be working for their middle school students at a tough time of year. Oak Hill Community School. Parker Elementary School. And another Elk River, Otsego, Rogers, and Zimmerman. Pine River Bacchus Elementary School. Rice Elementary. Rogers Middle School. Love their prize menu. Coke, pizza, cookies, some gift cards on there. Who wouldn't want to go there? We have Washington Elementary. Purple must be their theme. Westwood Elementary. Westwood Elementary School. These are two different schools in two different areas. So pay attention if you're in that area and reach out for some support. I love this kindness collection. We have 500 items they're getting to give away to people. Kindness is the Westwood way. And Zimmerman Elementary, home of the Zebra Pride. Zimmerman Middle and High School. So look at that, connecting from elementary to middle to high school. That's fantastic. And next up, we're going to go through our Metro schools, and I'm going to turn it over to Lauren Spar, our Metro Regional Implementation Project.
Thanks, Janet. Just want to say that the schools that are receiving Sustaining Exemplar Recognition include first-time recipients and also schools that have been awarded multiple times over multiple years. But each of them have made remarkable efforts, such as layering leadership and collaboration, focusing on community relationships and parent involvement, fostering a positive environment, and celebrating students. So congratulations to each of you, and you should be proud of your achievements. Congratulations.
And I think before we carry on here, we need to have some music. I really think we need to have a pool party. So I'm going to stop sharing. We're going to interrupt this programming for just a moment. Can you hear my music or not yet? Oh, perfect. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Done. Let's go. All right. So our Metro schools. We have Basswood Elementary. We have Benjamin E. Mays, IB World School. Birch Grove Elementary School. Awesome visuals, super great visuals for those elementary students. Bloomington Transition Center. Como Park Elementary School in St. Paul. We have Chanhassen High School, Storm Pride. Love those pictures at the bottom. Dayton's Bluff Achievement Plus Elementary, the home of the Dragons. And we have Edinbrook Elementary, the home of the Scotties. Love the yelling, it's great. And we have Edward Neal Elementary. Today I will be a star. Fair Oaks Elementary, and this is Osseo Area Schools. I also want to mention the link there. You can Google Fair Oaks Winter Olympics and you'll see them highlighted on the news. Hennepin Elementary School, one of our charters. Hilltop Primary School here. Look at these pictures. They had a glow stick dance party. Next up, we have Laketown Elementary. Find Your Way, Laketown Pride, and this is in Waconia. Let me pronounce this correctly. Latour de Nord French Immersion School. I'll brush up on my French, but I think I did that accurately.
Pretty close.
Latour de Nord. Maxfield Elementary School. Maxfield came out of nowhere this year as a non-cohort school and is here today. Good to see you, Maxfield. Northview Middle School. Oak Point Elementary. Be safe, be responsible, and be kind. Oakview Elementary. I have a feeling we have some Osseo fans in the house. And next up, we have Osseo Area Learning Center. And again, a mention of Check and Connect that they're doing building wide with their students that are in a area learning center and secondary. Pioneer Ridge Middle School in Eastern Carver County, home of the Trailblazers. Prairie View Elementary, and we are from Eden Prairie Schools. Rice Lake Elementary. Look at that wall. That's full of kindness. That's awesome. And West Tonka Whitehawks. So Shirley Hills Primary School in West Tonka Schools. Valley View Middle School. Looks like they have some Falcon pride in Bloomington. Most days I see about 5 falcons roaming around. Sign of good luck. Vista View Elementary School. Another collection of beautiful pictures and visuals from Burnsville Egan Savage School District. Woodland Elementary. I love the kazoo. And we have a principal who got pie in the face, it looks like. That must have been a wonderful, pretty fun time for those students to put a pie in the principal's face. All right, thanks so much in the Metro. And next up, I'm going to turn it over to Liz Dean in our Southern Regional Implementation Project and let her say a few words.
All right, everybody, let's give a big round of applause. Exciting. And if you want to unmute for just a second to even make a little noise, and let's get that kazoo going. So everybody unmute and make a little bit of noise here.
Like right now, Liz?
Ready? Go, everybody. Awesome. Well, we could be a little louder, we know, but I know it's summertime, so that's okay. I just want to say congratulations to all of our teams from the South. We're so proud of everybody across the state for all of their work this last year. My name is Liz Dean, and I'm a Southern Regional Coordinator. And our South teams are just moving forward and shaking and doing all kinds of great things. And it was just such a pleasure to read the applications and hear all of the fun things happening, not only across the state, but in the Southern region. So congratulations and a big round of applause to everybody here today.
Thanks, Liz. We're going to keep moving forward with the South. This is pretty exciting stuff. So first up, we have Goodview Elementary School, the Herky Code in Winona Public Schools. Next, we have I.J. Holton Intermediate School. I.J. Holton's been around for a little while. Hawk Pride. You see a hawk theme today. Next, we have Jefferson Elementary School, another Herky Code. So they're doing PBIS district-wide in Winona. And we have Morristown 5 through 8. Again, reach out to this middle school and see how they're helping students transition from 5th grade and elementary towards middle school and how that works for them. This is great. Lots of team building in these pictures. And lastly, just a quick mention of Sleepy Eye, who has never applied for PBIS. This is their first year applying, which is pretty exciting. I also want to just make a note that Sleepy Eye was named after a Dakota chief named Ishtaka Baha, or Bahe, if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, I apologize. And it was an actual literal term for droopy eyelid. So their chief had a droopy eyelid, and they started to call the community Sleepy Eye when they settled in 1864. I thought that was some pretty cool historical research. So congratulations, Sleepy Eye. And next up, we have Team Academy Charter School. You see the wolf, it just makes you want to, oh, go team. And next, we have Tri-City United La Center, K through 8. So go Titan Pride. And again, another wonderful example of what we might do with our K through 8 students as they transition grade to grade. And I also see a golden shoe down there in one of their pictures. And Washington Casukio Elementary School. So again, another Herky track, Herky Code in Winona. Wonderful work, Winona. And Waterville Elysian Morristown Elementary School. Love these pictures. Theme with green, lots of pride there at Waterville Elysian. And we have Woodson Kindergarten Center. I like Woodson Critter Pledge. We are kind, we are fair. Woodson Critters always care. Spread the word throughout your block. Woodson Critters will always rock. Love that. So this is a very specific kindergarten focused school in Austin Public Schools. All right, and I'm going to pause for just a moment, and we're going to turn it over to St. Cloud. And I'm not sure, St. Cloud, if you would like to navigate the screen or if you want to just let me know when to change slides. Just let me know.
Hi, Janet. We'd be just fine with you navigating.
Okay, great. And I'll let you do your introduction, but at this time, I'm going to just pause us for a moment and say thank you and congratulations to all of the 58 schools that were recognized today. And we're so excited to have you here. At this point, we're going to be transitioning to our district exemplar, who has been, we titled established in 2005, as this has been quite the journey in St. Cloud with their PBIS work. And I'm going to turn it over to you to give your introduction, and I will go ahead and change slides when you're ready.
All right, we'll keep you posted. Yes, congratulations to everybody. My name is Jack Peterson. I've had the privilege and honor of being our PBIS coordinator for St. Cloud Schools over the last 3 years. Joined with me too today is Carol Potter, our Executive Director of Student Services. And then we also have Mike Mathiasen on with us too. He's probably virtually from his home. He is going to be taking over as the new PBIS coordinator as the next school year starts. So we're excited to have him on the team and transitioning and passing that baton. But you're right, Janet, we did start in 2005 with Tech High School being one of the first schools in St. Cloud to jump on the PBIS bandwagon. And from then on, it has just grown, right? We've seen how successful they were and other schools started joining in the different cohorts. So I think we've got, I forget which one is our oldest, and maybe Aaron or Janet, you know, but when I look back and when filling out the application, I think we have one as far as even year 9. I don't know if we have anything further than that, but yeah, so it's been quite the journey. Our district PBIS team meets monthly, and we really work in collaboration with our MTSS teams and SEL teams. In fact, over this year here, we have combined our SEL coaches and PBIS coaches as one, so we can keep that common language moving out throughout our schools. We really focused in on our Tier 2 and Tier 3 interventions, and we'll talk more about those here in another slide. The school-wide expectations is always huge at the beginning of the year for our district team to review. And again, this year when we combined with the SEL coaches, we really wanted to put some of that SEL language into our building matrices. And again, with that common language. We also partnership with our district transportation team, you know, with bus bucks and getting their lessons out to the drivers and students. We also partner with MDE for that continued support. We know you guys are there whenever we need to lean on you. In the past, we used Mary Hunt, whom I'm sure a lot of you remember and know. And then the tiered fidelity inventory, obviously that's the model we've used here in the district. And then our building walkthroughs we also did. And what's nice about our building walkthroughs is we partner the schools together. So if you're a middle school coach, you would walk through an elementary school and see how they function and do things. Next slide, Janet. So Tier 1 supports really, obviously you all know these things too, but our school-wide expectations would be a Tier 1. Our safe and supportive school plans, you'll see a picture of that coming up. Our PBIS school-wide celebrations, you saw some of that in the slides of what our schools do in celebrating their data and the milestones that they meet. Our SEL lessons have also been a big part of our Tier 1 since the benchmarks came out. We usually have those going on during our morning meetings or advisories at the secondary level. And then obviously professional development with our district coaches and building teams. They are able to reach out and have one of us come out and help them with their data dives. And then new to us this year is we added another high school counseling position. So it was nice to get another body out in the schools to help support students who might need more. Next slide. For our Tier 2 supports in our district, it's really that reteaching those school-wide expectations. As you guys know, we have something in our district also called support rooms. I have another slide coming up on that, but support rooms are at every site. The name's kind of been changing. At the elementary, we might call it the safe place, the focus room, but students really get to go to these rooms for proactive breaks. They're identified through the MTSS team, and it's a great resource for us to have there. Another slide you'll see is CAP. We have an alternative to suspension program. Community accountability and prevention is what that stands for. Conflict resolution, we partner with the Central Minnesota Conflict Resolution Center, and they come out and do mediation and circles with our students in conflict. Check in, check out is also a tier 2 support we use. You guys know that as well too. We'd use that district-wide, and many district people have been trained in that. I'll talk about that in another slide. We also have skills groups that go on as far as like our counselors. They take on different, boys groups, girls groups, and different ways to help kids feel involved and validated. And added this year, we've got mental health advocates and then early child mental health specialist that has been helping out in our district. And those mental health advocates are really there to help advocate for student needs as we're coming back to more normal, if that's even still a term, from COVID. And we're excited to have them on our staff too. Tier 3 supports. So CAP, I talked about that program. It's utilized also for Tier 3 support. A student might have a more extended stay at that program. While they're in CAP, they get part of their day with academics and then another part of their day with some counseling. We also have a co-located therapist in our district, Greater Minnesota. They have staff members at majority of our sites, and they are there to help students in that small group counseling when they're needing that added support. The support room behavior plans, that's for students who use our support rooms regularly. They're on a behavior plan for those rooms. We also were able to add a chem health counseling position this year, so that's helping students that have that need. We also have staff in our district that are on our triage team. Those are counselors that are closely tied to our medical facilities in town, and they help families get appointments and get diagnostic assessments done and things that students might need. Another program we have in Tier 3 is the Crisis Response Initiative, the CRI program. We have partnered with the St. Cloud Police Department. They have a member on their staff that is working with students who are dealing with trauma situations. So they go out and meet with those families and help kind of build that bridge and support while they're coming back into school. So a lot of great things happening in our Tier 1, 2, and 3 supports. You've all seen the school-wide expectations, but we'd like to highlight North Junior High's expectations and how they, got it nice and concise with be safe, be kind, be responsible, in every area of their school represented there. The safe and supportive school plans. We've got our district level team has been great at creating these for the elementary level, the middle level, and the high school level. And these map out the whole year. And as you can see, the lessons are all hyperlinked. So no matter what level we've got, staff know where to go. And then we even tied in that SEL focus you can see on the left, and as far as a theme for each month. And it even tells, as far as for PD for staff, what needs to be done. So you can see a little clip there of September. We need to go over the major minor flow charts with staff, especially new staff, making sure they understand who's responsible for what, teaching students those lessons. And then obviously on the far right, we've got informed families. So there are certain times of the year where we send home letters to families to remind them of different things and happenings. Next slide. So with that social emotional learning and combining those teams, we just wanted to point out that we use conscious discipline as the curriculum and basis of our SEL and the language we use. For our elementary schools, we'd be finishing our 7th year right now of using conscious discipline. Our secondary level have been learning a lot about the brain state model and putting that into their PBIS lessons for students. We've also done some coaching at our elementary schools with that conscious discipline. And then when we talk about needing a screener, there's 2 different levels of screeners. There's the universal screener for mental health, but then we also felt with the SEL side of things, we wanted to see how kids were doing in those 5 benchmarks and also utilizing our PBIS lessons with that as well too. So we went ahead with the social skills improvement scale through Pearson. And so we've used that during our MTSS teams to screen some kids who might need a different tier of support and see where their needs might be. And then obviously check in, check out. We use that too, and you guys are all familiar with that. As far as check in, check out, we make sure that we have all of our behavior resource specialists trained in that. And those are the staff that are running our student support rooms. We have all of our deans trained in check in, check out, as well as counselors and our equity outreach coordinators. So we've got quite a few staff members that understand check in, check out And when we identify students that need that intervention, we've got definitely a nice pool of people to lean on and to support us. Here's those student support rooms like I talked about. So every general education site in our district has at least one support room staffed by a behavior resource specialist. These rooms are utilized for proactive plan breaks for our students. Also, reactive breaks can be utilized through guidance of administration. So if we have a student who had an issue on the playground or at lunch, an administrator might bring them down and say, we need you to hang out here for a while until you can be regulated and rejoin your class. These rooms are also used for in-school suspension as needed. And really, students that utilize these support rooms are there for a fadeaway support. So we try getting them in there, find out what works, what's their plan to get them regulated, and then we slowly fade the support away as they become successful back out in their classroom setting. So it really is some skill building, self-monitoring, and just those positive behavior plans. So we enjoy having this in our district. I talked briefly about CAP. CAP is that Community Accountability and Prevention program we have that's alternative to suspension. And CAP is basically for students grades 6 through 10. And it's staffed currently by 3.5 staff. We've got a SPED teacher there, a counselor, a BRS, and the counselor's only there half-time, and then a gen ed teacher. And students are really there to complete their work. Like I said, participate in that counseling to individually process what happened at their site and how they can move on with things. And then CRC comes in to do conflict mediation as well. It's a program that we do enjoy using, and you talk to administrators and they say, yes, we want to continue this program. So it's another one that we pride ourselves in. I'm going to pass the virtual microphone over to Mike Mathiasen. He was the SEL coach out at Lincoln Elementary. They're one of the schools featured here in the PowerPoint, and he will talk about what they've done to be an exemplar PBIS school.
Well, thanks, Jack. And I know I have some pretty big shoes to fill because you've done some pretty awesome things to keep our PBIS rolling in St. Cloud. So I'm excited to take that position and move in and continue the great work that's happening. You can go ahead to the next screen here. All right, so our vision, like most schools, is to promote a positive and welcoming climate for all of our students, our families, and our staff. The first thing I want to start off with is our bus bucks. So Jack mentioned that we partner with our transportation system in St. Cloud. And really this past year, we really did a nice job with making sure that our bus drivers were giving out bus bucks to promote our positive behavior on our buses. This really has helped our students form a relationship with the bus driver, which is so important when it comes to positive behavior on the buses. And it's also recognizing the great things that are happening on our buses. Prior to COVID, we did have our bus drivers come in when a bus would, every month we'd tally up the bus bucks, and whatever bus would get the most, we'd have our bus drivers come in and do a little celebration with them. This past year, we had more of an incentive-based prize for our students, but it really changed our focus, and it promoted that positive bus behavior. The second thing that we used this year were our all-star slips. And if you can see on the right there, we have our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade bins that are visible right when you walk into our building so everyone can see them. These were handed out for our 3 expectations of being kind, being safe, and being our best. And then our students would put them in the bins, and then we would, every morning for morning announcements, our principal would announce a student from 3rd grade, from 4th grade, and 5th grade that could come down and have a little celebration with our principal. And then we would tally them up at a certain amount. So let's say we needed like 3,000 all-star slips. Then we would have our students choose an activity that they would get to earn. So for example, we did a dance, an outdoor dance. We did a slime the principal. And then the last one that we did, which was pretty incredible, we did an outdoor kind of just party in general. So they could dance, they had kickball, soccer, a bunch of things going on. And we had over 400 students and staff, like probably another 60 to 80 staff outside all at once, and it went so smoothly. So it just really shows that when you're promoting that positive behavior and recognizing our kids for the great work that they're doing, that they can step up to the plate and do their job. You can go ahead to the next one. And then the last thing that we did was our virtual assemblies, which our students really enjoyed. We did a celebration video from certain events that we have done throughout the year, and every month we would have a celebration video that our media specialists would make. And then we would recognize a staff of the month and a student of the month. The student of the month was chosen by students and the teachers, and then the staff of the month was chosen by the staff to recognize the staff that have been doing such a great job. And then during our monthly assemblies, we would also look into some academic pieces too, with like Lexia winners for our reading programs and things like that. So it was just a great way to kind of showcase and the great work that was happening at Lincoln. And then also just to see our students would come down and receive a certificate on that virtual, and their classes would be clapping for them and hooting and hollering. You could hear it all around the school. So yeah, these are just some of the things that we're doing, just a snapshot of the great things that are happening at Lincoln. And these things are happening all over St. Cloud School District. So, but it's all just to promote that positive behavior and, recognize the great things that our kids are doing and let them know that we care for them and love them. And it really promotes that welcoming culture that we're really striving for at Lincoln. So thank you.
Thanks, Mike. And Carol and I were just talking too. You look at all the stuff that we listed from St. Cloud, and reminder, it took us 18 years to get all this, up and running. And then obviously we're monitoring and adjusting as different needs come up, right? So we do have a lot of great things going, but it took time. There's our contact info. Please reach out if you guys want to know more about how we did things or whatnot. We'd be glad to talk to you. I mean, obviously I'm transitioning to a different role, but I'm still willing to work with Mike and to answer any questions anybody might have. So thank you so much for letting us be featured today.
Wow. I think we need to just take a minute to unmute and give a round of applause, hoot and holler, or whatever. You deserve it. That is fantastic. And just want to say thank you again to Jack and Mike for being here and taking some time out of, the end of a really busy and challenging school year. The beauty of hearing a district and even reflecting on all of our exemplar schools and districts as a whole is that we get to look back in a school year that might have felt chaotic. It might have felt beyond challenging, like you're swimming up creek, and to see like, wow, we do have a lot of great things going on. And we know it's been a challenging year. But to hear you come and just, okay, we did all of these things, the coordination of social skills, mental health, chemical health for high schoolers, your CAP program, Check and Connect, that's exactly a wonderful example of, and you mentioned it yourself, Jack, how long it takes to implement something well, to continue to measure it, to continue to do the hard work each day and each year to actually get the outcomes that you want to see. Personally, I smell a field trip in the future, and I would love to grab everybody, take a bus and come on up. So thank you so much again for that. And before I turn it over to Erin again for our closing comments and things, I just wanted to give another shout out to St. Cloud, to all of our schools and districts, and really to our regional people who, Liz and Erin and Lauren, who've done a ton of work in the regions and showcased and hard work and answering calls and adapting to schedules and just giving a lot of support to our regions. And without that, we would not be here today. So I'm going to turn it back over to Erin, and she's going to do some closing for us. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Janet. Thank you, everybody. As we take one last moment to congratulate all of our exemplar schools. We have a list coming up here, don't we? Here we go. There they are, all 58 of those schools. Just a reminder, you will be receiving a signed certificate from the commissioner, so be on the lookout for that. Think about ways that you can share this great recognition with your school board, with your families, with your community, whether that be on your websites or local newspapers. They should know about the hard work that you've done and the impact that it's had on your students and staff. Should you want to connect with any of our regional implementation project coordinators, there are contact information there, as well as some of our external coaches. There is a website link down on the bottom for our PBISMN.org website as well. Congratulations to our exemplar districts. Once again, lots of things happening that are trickling down from that district level to our school level. And to me, it doesn't matter if you're a teeny tiny district or a really large district, having district support can make such a difference in how you have your implementation and the time and resources to be able to do that. So thank you for districts for supporting your school teams. If you want to be recognized as a sustaining exemplar school or district in 2023, you'll find that information on our pbismn.org website. It's also usually on social media, and your regional coordinators are sharing that out. Those applications come out in the spring, and we hope that you take a look at those and apply so we can celebrate you next year. If you're interested in being a part of PBIS in Minnesota, we do have opportunities for trainers, external coaches, and other partners. There is a link there where you can fill out a short informational survey, and somebody will be in contact with you as to how you could use your skills and expertise to help others implement their PBIS. And thank you for joining today. Over in the chat, there is a link for the survey if you attended our entire day 2 for our Summer Institute, and that's how you get your continuing ed hours. And don't forget, if you want to view any of the sessions you missed or revisit any of the sessions you did see, you can do that on our different YouTube channels. And I think that's all we have for you. I hope every one of you has a spectacular day and summer. Thanks for joining us. And hopefully we are going to see you here next year celebrating your schools.
Way to go, everyone.